So let's get right into it. Something really big is brewing in Finland, and it's all set to kick off in 2026. The country is about to launch one of the biggest tax overhauls it's seen in years. This isn't just a minor tweak. It's a bold, calculated bet designed to completely reshape its economic future. And that really gets you thinking, right? In a world where every country is fighting for an edge, how does a nation actually pivot? How do you make your country the place where everyone wants to invest, innovate, and bring their top talent? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack here. Finland isn't just playing with the numbers. It's tearing up its old financial rulebook and writing a brand new one. And our job is to figure out the why, to understand the grand strategy behind this whole thing. Okay, first up, let's talk about the engine of any economy, businesses. Finland is basically rolling out the red carpet with a new deal that's meant to supercharge growth and get companies excited about setting up shop there. Now, the big headline grabber is this. Starting in 2027, the corporate tax rate is dropping from 20% down to 18%. This is a huge signal to the rest of the world that Finland means business. It immediately makes them one of the most tax-friendly countries in the Nordic region and a serious player across all of Europe. But it's not just about that one number. Think about this. Starting a business is risky, right? Well, Finland is tackling that head on. They're extending the time companies can carry forward their losses from just 10 years to a whopping 25 years. That gives businesses, especially new startups, a much, much longer runway to find their footing and become profitable. And to really pour fuel on that innovation fire, they've got some powerful tax breaks for research and development. Get this. Companies can get a 150% super deduction if they partner with a research institute. And that's not all. There's also a general 50% deduction, plus another 45% on top of that if you're growing your R&D spending year over year. It's a crystal clear strategy to become a high-tech powerhouse. Of course, a great business climate isn't worth much if you don't have brilliant people to drive it. So that brings us to the second piece of the puzzle. Finland's plan to win the global war for talent. And wow, they are not being subtle about this at all. The tax rate for highly skilled foreign experts is being slashed from 32%, which was already pretty good, all the way down to 25%. That is a massive financial incentive designed to grab the attention of the world's best and brightest. So who exactly are they after with this amazing rate? Well, they're being very specific. We're talking about specialists who earn over 5,800 euros a month and whose jobs require very particular expertise. Finland is surgically targeting the exact kind of high-value professionals they need to boost their key industries. But hey, it's not just about attracting new talent from abroad. The reform also gives a break to everyone at the top end of the income scale by lowering the highest tax rate to around 52%. This makes it more rewarding for their own top talent to stay put, and maybe even tempts some Finns working overseas to come back home. All right, so we've covered the big plans for businesses and top experts. But what does all this mean for everyone else? How will these changes actually ripple through the daily lives of people living in Finland? Let's start with the VAT, or value-added tax. Now, Finland's main rate is staying pretty high at 25.5%, but there's a key change happening with the reduced rates. The main one, which covers a lot of everyday stuff, is getting a small trim, going from 14% down to 13.5%. And this new rate, it covers a whole range of things. We're talking essentials like your groceries, medicine, and bus fare, but it also includes things like going out to eat, staying in a hotel, or buying books and concert tickets. So it's a small but very broad tax cut on daily expenses. But listen, it's not all tax cuts. The government is also hiking up what are often called sin taxes. They're doing this for a couple of reasons: to encourage healthier choices and wealth to bring in more money. So expect the price of cigarettes and alcohol to jump pretty noticeably. Another interesting change is with inheritance tax. Let's look at the before picture. Until now, any inheritance worth more than 20,000 euros would get taxed. But starting in 2026, that tax-free limit is getting bumped up to 30,000 euros. This is a direct tax break for families, especially those with more modest estates, and it just makes it a little bit easier to pass something on to the next generation. All right, so let's step back for a second. When you put all these pieces together, the corporate tax cuts, the push for top talent, the little tweaks to daily taxes, what's the big idea? What's the end game for this massive project? It really all boils down to this single ambition. The Finnish government has been very clear. They want to make Finland more competitive and turn it into one of the absolute best places in Europe to invest your money. Every single reform we've talked about is a tool carefully chosen to hit that one specific target. This is a huge strategic gamble, a complete reimagining of their economic and social DNA. And it really leaves us with one big question to chew on. Is Finland just trying to catch up with everyone else, or are they actually building a whole new blueprint for how a country can thrive in the 21st century? I guess only time will tell.